Once your documents really begin to pile up, you'll probably want to consider a folder system to stay organized. And the folder system is very similar to working in a Windows environment with Windows Explorer, where you go through your computer looking at different folders containing different types of files. Same thing on the Mac side using Finder. Well, here in Google Docs, when you start creating folders, you actually don't put copies of your documents into the folders. You tag your documents with the folder name. So when you click on the folder, it appears as though those documents are inside a folder, but really what's happening is you're filtering out all the rest and only showing the documents tagged with that folder name. I'll show you what I mean. First of all, before we can start moving documents into a folder, you have to create those folders. Currently, if I look over here in the left-hand pane under all folders, there are no folders. Just an item to show me all of the documents that are currently not in folders, which is every one of my documents. So I'm going to go up to the New button, give it a click, and at the bottom is Folder. When I click on that, I've created a new top-level folder, and by default the name is New Folder. But we can click and drag over that to highlight it and type in our own name right over what's there. So I'm going to type in Personal and hit Return. I now have a new folder named Personal. Now if I was to go back up to the New button and choose Folder, I'd be creating a subfolder beneath Personal folder. That's right, you can have many levels of folders or subfolders within folders. I don't want to do that right now, so it's very important first that I deselect and click on all folders to create another top level folder. And I'm going to do that now by going to New and selecting Folder. This time I'm going to backspace over what's there to take it out and type in Office Docs. And when I hit Return, you can see now I've got two top level folders. Now with Office Docs selected, I am going to create some subfolders. So I go up to New, down to Folder, and this time I'm going to highlight what's there, New Folder, and type in my own name. This one is going to be, let's do Financials. Now you can see there's actually one item in Office Docs, and if I click on it, there's Financials. Even though there are no actual documents in there, it's counted as an item under Office Docs. With Office Docs selected, I'm going to go back up to New and create one more subfolder. And this time I'm going to click and drag over New Folder and type in Learning Docs. So now it's just a matter of actually moving my documents into those folders. That's the philosophy. That's not really what's happening. Remember, we're tagging our documents with these folder names so you don't end up with multiple copies of the same document. It exists once and once only. We're just organizing using these actual folder tags. So I'm going to go up to All Items. And I'm going to go down here to Sheets 101 and click in the checkbox. Same thing for WP and Slideshow 101. These are my learning documents. So when I go up to the Move To drop-down with the little folder icon, I can actually choose where they're going. Now each of these has its own little triangle next to it. Office Docs, if I click on the triangle, will expand this to show that I've got Learning Docs and Financials. Well, this is where I want it to go, Learning Docs. So I click on it, with it selected, choose Move to Folder, and away they go into that folder. Now notice that with all items selected, I can still see them here. Over here though, under Folders and Sharing, it tells me that they are in the folder named Learning Docs, and they're shared only by me at this point. So I'm going to deselect just by clicking below them here on the list. I can also deselect their checkboxes because I'm not going to do anything else with those. Now with Newsletter here, I'm going to give it a click. I'm going to move that into my Personal folder. Move to, click Personal, click Move to Folder. This is my own personal newsletter. It's now tagged with the Personal folder. So it really hasn't changed its location. It's still on a secure server. It exists there one time only, but I can access these folders by clicking them here or over here in the left-hand pane. Right, I'll deselect that one, and I'm just left with a couple more. I've got this Slideshow, Expenses, and Agenda. They're going to go right into the Office Docs folder. So I'm going to go up to Move To, choose Office Docs, and Move to Folder. Now I've put them here because there's an actual document, which is a spreadsheet called Expenses, that really belongs in the Expenses folder. So can I move it from here into that folder as well? You bet. These documents can exist in multiple folders even though they only exist in reality once. So with expenses still selected, I can go up to Move To. I'm going to expand Office Docs and click on Financials, then choose Move to Folder. And you'll see that now it's actually located in 2 folders. In reality, it's tagged with these 2 different folder names. So that means I'll be able to access it from either of those folders. Let's try it out. If I go over to Personal here and click on it, look at that, just my newsletter. If I go over to Office Docs, I've got a couple of subfolders as well as some files. Looks like this one's also in the Financials folder, and I can click on it to open it up from that folder. I'm going to go back to my Docs home, and over here I'm going to go to Office Docs, and I'm going to expand Financials by clicking its little triangle. Same thing for Learning Docs. Now you can see how I'm nicely organized here. If I click on items not in folders, look at that. I'm well organized. There's nothing that's lying outside of any of those folders. If I go up to all items, and that's how I like to view things, they're all still there, but here you'll see which folders they belong to now. So that's a great way to stay organized. I want you to imagine hundreds and hundreds of documents. Eventually, you'll have to think about creating folders, even subfolders, and moving your documents into those folders.